You made a cutesy baby romance anime about talking out your feelings and thought me and the boys wouldn't be all over that? Bitch, get this power fantasy bullshit out of my face. I am here for two things: adorable romance and friendship so sincere they threaten to thaw out my cold, unfeeling heart. And lucky for me, this anime is gas. Check it out. It's about this girl named Suzuki who is hopelessly in love. The guy she sits next to in school, Tanny, is stoic, quiet, and only says exactly what's on his mind. She loves that about him because, contrarily, Suzuki is loud, energetic, and cares what others think of her. Opposites begin to attract. After jumping at the opportunity to walk home with him and briefly touching hands, Suzuki fucking explodes, which makes her late for school the next day. Her friends pull up to her desk all, "Girl, what happened? You're never late for school." And Suzuki confesses to Tanny? In episode 1? This is the best romance ever. The first thing you'll notice about this show is how awesome the vibes are. This family is familying it up. These bros are broing it up. Look at them all just dapping each other up on the street. This energy oozes out of every aspect of the show. You get swept up by this living, breathing city built on the best of intentions where everyone knows everyone and the world just feels fun. It's fun to watch friends get along like human beings. It's fun to watch a functioning family in anime, the way these siblings banter, the mom being alive. So many anime strive to reach this exact feeling, but you'll notice that it can either lean too far into a literally nothing happens territory or push conflict in a way that leaves the show in this weird dramatic limbo. In that sense, striking that balance of great vibes and eventful, exciting storytelling almost feels impossible. But you and I, our polar opposites, was able to completely and utterly sidestep this problem by simply pacing it like a bunch of TikToks. I am not joking. As soon as you enter this classroom, you are enveloped by noise. It is not background noise, it is not ambience. This is a show. You are about to hear about every neuron that's been rattled off in there, and on one hand, this is very funny, but on the other, holy shit, these guys talk quick. The characters bounce erratically in and out of the conversation, each one saying increasingly stupid shit because friends have a tendency to say stupid shit. And half the time, it doesn't even matter, but you lean in and rewind anyway because the vibe is so infectious. The pulse of this classroom becomes this rhythm that you get to tune yourself into. I want to be a part of that noise. I want to be in on the gossip. Suddenly, watching these friends yap around feels like chilling with a group of friends I really tongued with in school. And I think part of the reason that works so well is just how fucking weird the characters are. I'm not talking quirky or archetype weird. I mean these characters do not speak human. Everyone in this show just knows exactly how they're feeling at any given moment and then they say it out loud. It is uncanny, it is uncomfortable, and it smacks you in the fucking face.
I think it's too early to say I've caught feelings. It's more like I got my glove out to catch feelings, you know?
What? This is supposed to be the clueless guy, by the way, so saying "I'm not crushing guys, I'm into crushing pregame" is awfully insightful of him. The characters say this kind of stuff often, and it had me reeling from secondhand embarrassment. You don't say what they say out loud. You're supposed to under-explain yourself, suppress shame, pride, ego, you know, the fun stuff. These characters do not have such flaws, and if they do, they name it and spit on it and throw it away. This is when I realized that this show is the ultimate social fantasy, which I just made up. You guys know how the average power fantasy is a fantasy about having power and women who can sniff out your Axe body spray and, you know. A social fantasy is like that, but for your social life. A lot of romance, and I'd say most slice of life, tends to fall in or around this ballpark. It could be meeting the one, or conversely, everyone meeting you, and again, the point is, it's wish fulfillment, and Polar Opposites is no different. The characters openly talk about every thought and feeling going through their head, a level of communication I'm sure a lot of people wish they got to be a part of. So, you press play. That clueless idiot from before, he gets the number of the pregame crush, and they text each other for like a week. And it's awkward. The girl overthinks and sends these dissertation-length messages, and he just replies with, "Cool," which for most people equates to death by firing squad, but that's the thing. They don't know each other very well yet, and without a voice or a face, it can be hard to tell how they're really feeling on the other side of the screen. But where any other show would assume the worst of intention, they instead go to their friends for help. This group huddles in the corner of their classroom just to talk this kid through his situation. The girl too, her friend wants to see this happen, so they sit down and they problem solve. Pretty much every conflict in this show gets handled in this same way. You watch these kids help each other and understand each other, and it begins to feel like this place where anyone can just belong. that's the fantasy, because they don't react funny, joke things off, or brush them aside. These feelings aren't weird for them to say out loud because it wasn't weird for the people around them. Everyone just makes space for each other. But if that's all it was, the show would be all the way down here with rabbits and Russians. But there's a reason why this show is getting away with an 8.32 on my anime list. You might have already clocked it from the fucking horrendous text exchange from before, but it's because of the issues these characters are dealing with, the feelings, the cringe-ass way they fumble through them. All of it comes from a place that is embarrassingly real. There's this scene where the ever-stoic Tanny happens upon the first thing in this show to actually rattle him. His girlfriend has a past! And it's the dude standing right in front of him. Immediately, his mind begins racing to r/askman for advice. Are there still feelings there? Do I measure up to this guy? Is my girlfriend... If you've been in or around the romance genre at all, you understand the terrible, horrible death sentence of an arc that's setting up here. But before any of it can get out of hand, Tanny stops himself in his tracks. The problem lies with me. That's what he tells her. I'll go sort out my thoughts. And he does. Thoughts like, are they still close? Am I gonna lose this? Gradually begin to turn inward until we get the lines, why is it that instead of growing bolder, I'm growing... I forgot how to read, guys. This is bad. Why is it that with each passing day, instead of growing bolder, I grow greedier? Why is my heart getting smaller? I have never seen jealousy portrayed in such a concise and poignant way before, and I think that's what makes this show stand out to me. You and I Are Polar Opposites is a show that puts words to so many feelings and struggles that you and I might have been through before, and it does so with grace. Any other show would have held on to this jealousy thread for half the season just to resolve it as a misunderstanding, but here, it's not a misunderstanding, it's just their flaw. Tanny is feeling this dissonance between who he is and who he thought he would be, and all the while Suzuki is over here freaking out over the shame and embarrassment of having a past. Bitch! Shh! You didn't do anything. This doesn't even qualify as a tutorial. The show is just so mature and empathetic in how it handles these situations, and yet it never forgets to stay fun. As put off as I was by the dialogue at times, the longer I watched, the more I noticed myself in every member of this cast. You have Tyra, this kid that goes around stereotyping everyone in his head and then jumping off the nearest cliff if he's even slightly incorrect. Azuma, my beloved, who almost disappeared because she forgot to have boundaries. Suzuki, Yamada, Nissan, these characters are so sweet and painstakingly relatable. So painful, in fact, I didn't know if I'd survive this show. It kept resurfacing my cringy ass past and overriding my memories with the good ending, which was a very weird feeling. It's sort of like being mid-heart attack and then looking up and going, oh, at least it worked out for them. It was a good time. But with all that being said, is a high schooler about to identify and thug out his entire jealousy arc with a few good minutes of thought from start to finish? Maybe not. The way these feelings all get talked out and resolved can be idealistic, to say the least, but it's hard for me to hold that against the show. Obviously, not everyone is going to speak emotional vulnerability in reality. People have egos that get tripped and philosophies that differ. People just aren't going to be on the same page. And that's not to say that being vulnerable and open is unrealistic, but I think that's reason enough for most people to not say everything they're thinking out loud. Especially the intrusive stuff. Batman could not get that shit out of me. But at the same time, this is exactly why a world that's so emotionally open is an appeal. It's the way these characters weave so seamlessly in and out of the group. It's the way they can just say the most vulnerable shit and be met with people who listen and who care. Things will not always work out this well in real life, but maybe the best way to carve out that space to belong is to finally say something for ourselves.